Watching this is another lesson in our grade 7 review. We're going to be focusing on fractions again. This time we're going to be talking about adding and subtracting fractions. So later on in the year we'll be doing multiplying and dividing fractions, and again multiplying and dividing fractions are much easier than adding and subtracting fractions. So please pay attention to this review. Um, it covers the harder part of dealing with fractions, in my opinion. So let's take a look. So how do we add or subtract fractions? How do we subtract or add 5 over 9 plus 3 over 9, or 8 over 12 minus 5 over 12, or 2 over 3 and 5 over 7? What do we do? Well, first you have to check the denominators. That's step number uno. Please check the denominators. Are they the same? Well, if they're the same, then your life is easy. Because if they are, you can just add, you can add or subtract the numerator. So here we have 4 over 9 plus 3 over 9. Okay, well, the bottoms are the same. So all I got to do is do this. And I can go, okay, well, I don't touch the bottom. If the bottoms are the same, don't touch them, don't look at them, just rewrite it. Then you change the top. And you go 5 plus 3, 7. Ta-da, you did it. You've added fractions. Okay, let's do subtraction. Well, are the bottoms the same? Yeah. So I'm just going to do this, copy paste, and change that to a 12. And what do I have here? Well, 12 is the same. Don't touch them. They're the same. Don't worry about it. 8 minus 5, 3. Right? That's all I got to do. Now, are we done, though? In this one, are we done? Now, this is an instance of where a lot of students will make mistakes. Yeah, you're right. It is 3 over 12. But you can simplify. So always check your fractions. Can I simplify this? Can I make this easier? Well, what can I divide 3 by that I can divide 12 by? I can divide both by 1. I can divide this by 2, but I can't divide this by 2. I can divide this by 3. I can divide this by 3. And 3 is the highest number I can divide 3 by. You can't cut 3 into smaller pieces. So I take the highest number I can divide both numbers by, in this case 3, and I go, okay, I'm going to divide this by 3, which is 1. And I divide this by 3, which is 4. And that makes it 1 over 4. So this is the more correct answer. The first one was right, but it's not simplified. And so in most questions I'm going to ask you in assignments are, can you simplify this fraction? So always double, triple, quadruple check to see if you can simplify that fraction. So if the denominators are different when you're adding or subtracting, then you need to make them the same as the top. And so this is where it gets a bit tricky. You can't just go, oh, 5 plus 2 is 7. Oh, 3 plus 7 is 10. So you can just go 7 over 10. No, don't do that. Bad, bad, bad. You can't go 2 minus 3 and then 5 minus 10. It doesn't work. You first need to make sure, are your denominators the same? So if they're not, make them the same. And this is what you do. You take the denominators and you multiply the other fraction by that denominator. So here we see 2 over 3 plus 5 over 7. Denominators are not the same. So I take the denominator from this guy, the 7, and I multiply it by the 3 here, and I multiply the 7 by the 2 here. So I take the 7, multiply this fraction, the other fraction, by the 7. So the 7, 2 times 7, 3 times 7. Okay, then I do the same thing, but on the other side. I take this denominator, this 3, and I multiply this by 5. So 5 times 3 and 7 times 3. Same thing here. 10 here, 10 there, 5 there, 5 there. Okay? So when I do that, I can do that. I can now solve it because 2 times 7, 14. 3 times 7, 21. Plus 5 times 3, 15. 7 times 3, 21. Are my denominators the same? Then I can solve it. And it just turns into 14 plus 15 over 21. Here, 2 times 10, 5 times 10, 3 times 5, 10 times 5. The bottoms both become 50, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. Then I can just do 20, minus 5. 15, sorry. So then we just add up. Okay, so here we have the same thing here, 14 over 15. 14 and 15 makes 29 over 21. I did not change the denominator. Another mistake a lot of people make are that they will take the denominators and add them up. Don't do that. Don't change them. 21, 21, 21. Okay? So you have 29 over 21. You're right, that is correct. But there's more you can do. I can make the equation simpler by going, okay, this 29, this numerator is bigger than my denominator. That means it's a improper fraction. I need to make it nice and proper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the denominator and say, well, how many denominators fit in the numerator? Well, 21 fits into 29 at least once, right? So I at least have one whole. Well, then I take away 21 from it. How much is left? 8. So I have 8 over 21. Can I make this simpler? No. So that's my answer. I have 20 over 50 minus 15 over 50, just like here. Right? Well, 20 minus 15 is 5, and I don't touch the denominator when I'm adding or subtracting. I make 5 over 50. Okay, so am I done? No, because 5 and 50 can be simplified. I can divide 5 by 1. I can divide 50 by 1. So that makes this 5 divided by 1, 1. 50 divided by 5, 5 divided by 5, 1. 50 divided by 5, 10. 1 over 10. Can I make it simpler? No. So this is our answer. So make sure you simplify, because you can get every question right. You can get every question right. Nothing breaks my heart more when I see every question right, but they didn't simplify. So do these in practice. Please make sure you simplify. If you need to pause the video, please go ahead, and I'll keep moving forward. So adding and subtracting mixed numbers. This is where you're now doing multiple things at once. And take it one step at a time. So I have 7 over 1/2 minus 3 over 1/5. So first off, you do the same thing as before. And here too, you have 2 over 5, 2 over 3, 3 and 2. So first off, you go, okay, I want to make my denominators the same. How can I do that? Again, take this 5, multiply, multiply. Take this 2, multiply, multiply. Ignore the whole numbers. Don't look at them yet. Don't touch them. Don't have to worry about them. Now I have 7 with 1/2 times 5 and 3 1/5 times 2. So 1 times 5 is 5, 2 times 5 is 10. So I have 7 5 over 10 minus 3, 1 times 2 is 2, 5 times 2 is 10. So now my denominator is the same. Awesome. Okay, that's the first step. Same here. I did the exact same thing. I multiplied the 3 to the 2, multiplied the 3 to the 5, the 2 to the 5, and I multiplied the opposite denominators. I got my new fractions. Denominators are the same. That's your step 1. Make your denominators the same. Then I can just add or subtract, right? So again, 5 over 10 minus 3 over 2. Well, now you can deal with the whole numbers. Well, that's a whole number. 7 minus 3 is 4. So that's your new whole number. And then I have denominator. Don't touch them. Don't change them. Leave them alone. It's a 10. 5 minus 2 is 3. That's it. Can I make this simpler, though? Well, not really, right? So I leave it alone. Let's look at this guy. 6 over 15 to 10 over 15. So 3 plus 2 is 5. And then I have 16 over 15. Uh-oh. I now have another improper fraction. It was a mixed number, and now it's an improper fraction. Well, then look at the bottom. How many 15s fit into 16? 1. Okay, well then I'll add 1 to the 5, making that a 6. How much is left over when I take away that 15? 16 minus 1 is 1. So I have 6 1 over 15. And that's it. That's adding and subtracting fractions. Okay? Step 1. Always make your denominators the same. If you're adding and subtracting fractions, make the denominators the same. Make the bottoms the same. Don't do anything else. And then if you're dealing with mixed numbers, you don't really have to worry about them until the end. And once you have them at the end, you just sort of either subtract or add depending on what you're doing. And then add or subtract the numerators, and leave the denominators alone. Don't touch them, don't change them, leave them the same. And you're done. And if you end up in a situation like this, oh no, I have a whole number and an improper fraction, fix it. Make it proper. Well, 16 over 15 is 1 over 15. Well, that 1 goes into that 5, making it a 6. That's it. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you next lesson.